I posted 37 times on LinkedIn this month, which I recognize is pretty unhinged. Why did I post on LinkedIn 37 times in 1 month? I don't know. It was partially for an experiment and partially because I was hoping for like rapid growth. I really wanted to pop off, which I kind of did. Here, I'll get into the exact metrics here. Let me open my laptop. I want to start with a disclaimer saying that I do not love LinkedIn analytics at all, but we're going to reference them regardless because I want to back up what I'm saying with some level of fact. The way that LinkedIn analytics works is you can look at either the past 90 days or the past 28 days. There's no option to look at the past 30 days, which is what I'm talking about here, but whatever, we'll go with 28, it's fine. Apparently, over the last 28 days, I had 17,348 impressions, which was allegedly actually less than the month before. I don't know how I feel about this. I also had the trial membership for LinkedIn Premium, which expired on August 12th, I believe, and I think that kind of plummeted things for me a little bit too. But I will say that I don't really care. I just think that impressions specifically are such a vanity metric. Allegedly, I keep saying allegedly, like this is a conspiracy theory. Apparently, I reached 4,331 members of LinkedIn over the past month, which, not gonna lie, that doesn't seem like that many, but whatever. My top performing posts in terms of impressions were a list I made of 15 purpose-driven women to follow, which makes sense because the people I tagged commented, and so of course it boosted the reach. Second highest impression was my 60-minute webinar on basically how to use LinkedIn. My third best performing post in terms of impressions was a post about how I faked stage speaking photos. Okay, now let's talk engagements. Over the last 30 days, I had 1,063 engagements, which again, doesn't feel like very many. So I don't know, we're gonna talk about whether this daily posting thing was worth it at the end. And my top performing posts in terms of engagements were very similar to my top performing posts in terms of impressions. So it was the webinar. The second best performing post was about a local meetup group I run called Purpose Driven Professionals, which is actually launching a New York City chapter in September, so that's pretty cool. Now for my audience, again with my LinkedIn analytics beef, it doesn't actually show exactly how many followers I gained over these 28 days. So I don't know exactly how many followers I gained, which is kind of unfortunate. I wish that it told that, but that's okay. I do find my top demographics of followers really interesting. This is exactly what I want. I want senior experience level and people in the Tampa Bay area. So that's cool. That's fun to see. So those are the tangible numbers. That's the numerical side of things. And I don't necessarily feel like that's representative of my experience. I think there's a huge disconnect between the numbers that LinkedIn shows you, the few analytics that it coughs up compared to the actual impact that your posts are having. So I always tell people, don't let LinkedIn analytics discourage you because it really doesn't matter. I just feel like conversions, or not even conversions, but like relationship building stuff is way more important than who sees my post. I think another numerical thing that matters a lot to me is that I did host my first ever 60-minute webinar, LinkedIn Live, and that had over 160 registrations, I believe, which was really cool. And it had a great turnout. People were commenting all throughout the webinar. I was asking questions and there were actual answers happening in the chat. So that was really cool. Now I'm gonna talk about how it felt to post on LinkedIn 37 times in 30 days. By the end, not great. Like I kind of lost the plot almost by the end of the month. For the most part, I will say I really enjoyed this. I love posting on LinkedIn, but I took some time off this weekend to kind of reflect and not think about work, not think about LinkedIn, and I ended up scrolling TikTok and YouTube and just looking at some of the fun content that the girlies were putting out. And I realized something that's been missing in my work, probably because I've been churning out so much content, is this level of artistry And I want to talk more about that in another video, which I'll probably film literally right after this. I'll probably be wearing this exact same shirt because I want to talk about how cool it is when musicians like Ariana Grande, Charlie XCX, Sabrina Carpenter, when they create this world that you can step into, when you can tell that they've so masterfully and meticulously and intentionally created something. I just have so much to say about it. I think that female musicians are like peak personal branding, and there's so much that we all can learn from them. But even aside from the big pop stars, even just some of the YouTube creators on here, like I love Madeline Argy or Argy. I'm sorry, girl, I can't get it right. I should know because I've been listening to her podcast forever, but I love some of her videos. She's so herself. She's just talking authentically. You can tell she's not like following any kind of script, which my last couple YouTube videos, I very much was following an outline and a flow, and I was trying to like teach and get my point across. And it's cool to see creative people just being themselves and expressing themselves, and I want to channel that a little bit more. And I feel like churning out daily content did stunt me in that way. Like, I definitely wasn't putting out masterpieces, which I've gone on and on about how you don't need to put out masterpieces on LinkedIn because statistically only 7% of your audience even sees a single one of your posts. So it's better to post more frequently and pour less time into each post. But at the same time, just in terms of feeding my soul and my creative spirit, I do feel like I want to incorporate a little bit more artistry and be a little bit more intentional about the stuff that I'm putting out. I want to have fun on YouTube. I want to have fun on LinkedIn. I want to express myself more creatively. When I was forcing myself to post every single day, inevitably, I got a little lost in the sauce. Not terribly. Like, I'm not embarrassed by anything I put out. I think for the most part, it was all good stuff. It was positive. It was uplifting. It was cool. But I don't know. I would like to put out stuff that's just like a little bit more creatively fulfilling, you could say. My focus going into September is going to be a little bit more quality control, being a little bit more intentional with what I put out. I am actively promoting a LinkedIn sprint that kicks off on September 15th. So up to September 15th, I definitely will be posting every day still, because I really want people to know about this sprint and to get in before it closes. Like, it's genuinely very important to me. So I will be talking about that a lot and posting a lot until September 15th. So I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of contradictions in everything I just said, and I guess that's just life, isn't it? So would I recommend posting daily on LinkedIn for a month? Would I recommend doing what I just did? I wouldn't recommend doing it for 30 days. I would recommend doing it for 10. And this includes weekends, by the way, which is crazy, but I would recommend it if you're looking to grow on LinkedIn. It of course depends on your goals and your lifestyle and all those things. But if you're really trying to grow on LinkedIn, I would recommend posting every day. Just do it for 10 days and then take a break. Don't do it for the full 30, because you're gonna feel like a rag doll that's been dragged through the mud. If you do decide to post daily, whether it be for 10 days or for 30, I'm not gonna stop you. Please tell me, connect with me on LinkedIn and message me and be like, oh, I'm posting daily so that I can support you, because I do think it's really cool when people do put in the effort and commit to something like this. I respect the hustle very much and I would love to support. If you have any questions about my experience with posting daily on LinkedIn, feel free to comment them below. I'll answer. I always answer everything, by the way. I answer all my comments, if not 99.999% of my comments. 99.999% of my direct messages. I answer everything. I'm very responsive. So feel free to ask any questions, whether it's privately or in the comments. I also want to add, you can very easily pour hours and hours of your time and energy into posting daily on LinkedIn, but if you don't have a strategy or you don't have the proper guidance, you might be pouring all of that energy into just like a sinkhole. You know what I mean? So like, that's kind of scary, and that's something that I definitely want to warn people against. You do need to make sure that you know what you're saying, who you're saying it to, why you're saying it, all that stuff before you dive into posting daily. 100%. I actually should have said that earlier, but it's fine. If you do want to push yourself on LinkedIn to level up and you want guidance and support around that, join our LinkedIn sprint that kicks off on September 15th. It's a 6-week program that has weekly live coaching with me. weekly guest expert sessions. The whole point of the sprint is really to kick it into high gear on LinkedIn, to allow yourself to hit that new level of growth, to really level up, one might say. So I'm really excited about this sprint. I definitely have a lot more to say about it, but I'm gonna try to keep it short here. If you are ready to level up on LinkedIn, I will add that sprint link in the description. And then if you're not quite ready to join, you want to know more about what's to come in the sprint, we will be having some upcoming mini live sessions with the guest speakers of the sprint, talking about their module and the content that they're going to cover. Those will be on LinkedIn Lives. So I'll add the link in the description to connect with me on LinkedIn, and then if you just follow me and check out my profile, you'll be able to see all of the LinkedIn Lives that we're doing leading up to the sprint, and then you'll have a better idea of what's to come inside the sprint. The sooner that you do register for the sprint, the better, because that gives me more time to connect with you one-on-one and talk personally about your LinkedIn, give you a direct personalized audit and all those good things. Since before September 15th, I'm really gonna be loving on the people who have already registered and giving you guys some pre-kickoff attention. So register now to get some personalized support from me leading up to September 15th, and then we will really go deep into implementation. It's gonna be awesome. I'm honestly so excited. I really hope to see you inside because I know that it will help you and it will help your career, and I don't think that you would ever regret investing in yourself in this way. It's just, the results are gonna be beautiful. I already know. It's gonna be awesome. So, okay, I'll stop talking about it. See you inside. You can also watch my next video about what pop stars can teach us about personal branding.